What's up, YouTube? It's Deadlift Day, and we're going to do Psalm 42. It's a good one. I don't know why I say that. They're all good. So we're just, working our way up to something heavy. And I know heavy is relative. It's heavy for me. It's really all that matters. Challenge myself. Got a powerlifting meet coming up in about a month. So got to get the numbers up, pump them up. Let's go. We're out here at the prison gym. We're going to do it out here from now on. I'll get into that later. Psalm 42. It's going to ask some questions. So stay tuned because so many things he runs through, it's probably stuff where you'll say, yeah, I've been in that same situation. I didn't realize how many of those were in Psalm 42. It's a good one as far as that part of it goes. So let's do some warm-up reps here and keep rolling. This is 225. We're going to do 3. Okay, well, need to check my form or something. Last week and this week, it's just felt like I'm a little too over the bar, maybe. I don't know, that's what video is good for. Go back and check it out. See what I did wrong, see what I did right. Build on it. Alright, so let's start reading. That reminds me, I got a mental note, something I got to do later. It involves reading and writing. Nothing important to most people, but it's really important to some people. So, Psalm 42. As the heart, and now this is spelled like the animal, which modern translation would say a deer. Deer that live in the woods. Panteth, again, I love it, panteth, after the water brooks. So panteth my soul after thee, O God. Now, animals, he picks a deer. Good. They got to find water because they don't have a sink where they just turn a little knob. They don't go to the gas station and get a bottle of water. Deer have to hunt water in the woods just like all the other animals do. But, you get thirsty, the whole panting thing, you got a dog, you've seen your dog pant, tongue hanging out. They're playing kind of hard, they need some water. So he says, he goes on with this idea of just thirsting. My soul thirsteth for God, for the living God. Now, God is capitalized both times, just in case you're wondering. He's not like he's just any God will do, but I'd rather have the real one. He's like, no. He's the real God the whole time here. Just, words matter, meanings matter. When shall I come and appear before God? So he really needs God here. He's really looking for God. And you got to remember Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount. He says, blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they will be filled. So this idea is the theme in Scripture. It's not just something Jesus says one time or David says one time. Here's an Old Testament, here's a New Testament. And this idea that you have a deep longing for connection with God. My tears have been my meat day and night, while they continually say unto me, where is thy God? And like in so many Psalms now, David is bringing in this negative, like force, sometimes it's a person or a group of people, or sometimes it's just they, like whoever they are, and it's funny because they have been a theme in my life too. So that's why this psalm is full of things that are so relatable. Because it's just a thing that happened to me before. The only church I was ever paid to be on staff at, where the pastor would keep saying, they don't like this about, you're doing this, they don't like that, or they don't like this. I'm like, I finally asked him one day, who's they? It's like, oh, I can't tell you. Like, well, then they don't matter. That's what I told him. And of course, he got upset, and I'm sure they got upset, if there even really was a they. People hide behind they sometimes because they don't want to be the one to tell you to your face. But I don't know. That's just the whole thing. But it's like relatable. They are doing this. They are coming at me. And it's like, well, I'm sitting here trying to find God. What are y'all doing? So let's do another warm up here and throw some more weight on there. Okay. That's feeling better. Like, one thing I have to consciously do is just a little deadlift tip if you're still paying attention. Like, when you go down, you got the whole thing with your feet and all that, right? Hopefully you got the foundational part right, because that's really important. Bar, middle of the foot, and all that. But another thing, like once you've mastered that whole concept and getting the knees forward and the butt back, so you come down, the idea is that your shoulders are literally straight. And your arms coming down from your shoulders are straight. Because when you pick the bar up, you want to pick it up straight. Because if you pick it up and you're not straight, you're fighting something, you're already fighting gravity. So you want it to be as vertical as possible. If you're pulling it back, that's more effort. Well, if you're not going forward, you're probably not going to pick it up at all, because it's just going to dump you in the floor if you're not careful. But, I mean, that could be a lot of factors, not just that. But anyway, it's just something to think about there. So I'm going to put some weight on here, talk some Psalm 42 here. Plus, I had to fix my CD player. It was acting up. Alright, so what do we have next? When I remember these things, I pour out my soul in me. I don't know what that means. So I'm going to speculate a little bit. I don't want to go crazy with speculating. That leads to heresy, I think. Sounded good. Yeah, that should be a quote. Too much speculation leads to heresy. Sounds good. I mean, I understand pouring out your soul, but usually, you talk about you do it with your best friend, or you do it with God, obviously. But pouring out your soul in you, does that mean you're just like talking to nobody, talking to yourself, just spilling your guts out to nothing, to nobody? You can't find one person that cares enough about you to talk to, so you just talk anyway. Because it sounds like it. I mean, there's no one else around, right? You're talking to nobody. Because look at how he follows this up. For I had gone with the multitude, I went with them, to the house of God with the voice of joy and praise, with a multitude that kept holy day. So another translation throws the word in there. So now, of course, what did the Hebrew word mean? We'll find out eventually. But he says, I went with them, gone with the multitude, I went with them. The other translation says, I led them. Not just with them, you were leading them. So that's super relatable, because just for the simple fact of, all the times that I play guitar, I lead worship, or I lead worship and preach. It depends on how many people are out of town at the same time sometimes. But seriously, a lot of that too just stems from the example I had growing up. When I was a kid, the pastor of the church, he could do it all, man. He could play guitar, lead the music, put the guitar down, do the preaching. And I've never forgotten that, And so, but then I can also relate to this idea of just being frustrated and by yourself and not really having anybody to talk to about it. So it's kind of a whole funny full circle moment here that David's talking about. And you wonder too, man, David, he did both, because you had the lion and the bear and the watching the sheep, but then of course he's also the king, and he as a king, he's people all the time. But then I guess he also has those moments where he's alone. Maybe he didn't like to be alone all the time, because if he's alone on his roof, right? But then he sees Bathsheba. So, being alone is cool. I love being alone. But you don't always want to be alone. That's not the point. It's also got something to do with, using that time. But then you got to go back and be part of the group. So he's here, feeling down, feeling alone. He asks the question, why art thou cast down, O my soul? And why art thou disquieted in me, like restless? Two really good questions to think about while I do some more work here. Why do those things happen? Why do we feel that way sometimes? What makes that happen? What's the cause? The effect, you feel down, right? Well, what's the cause? Is there a cause that we can actually, there's obviously a cause, but can you put your finger on it? Is it always super obvious? Probably not. That was quick. It's a good sign. It needs to be quick. I'm probably going to go back and watch the video and realize I did way more reps, like 225 and 275 than I thought I did, because I was too busy talking probably. That's the downside. It's I don't always film, because it's nice to talk about something important. I love talking about stuff that matters. And in between sets, you gotta do something, especially as you get heavier now. But at the same time, distractions, man. Focusing on the task at hand. getting a certain job done. Don't want to do too many warm-up reps. You gotta have enough going on there for your working sets. So there's just a thing about it, you gotta really zero in on what you're doing, especially getting this close to a meet. You got a little over a month to go, so that means you have a little under a month to get all your heavy lifting going. And because that last week, you got to recover and all that good stuff. All right, so here we are. He's asked this question: "Why art thou cast down in my soul? Why art thou disquieted in me?" It's in the middle of the verse. It's not. That doesn't even finish the verse. Hoping God, for I shall yet praise Him for the help of His countenance. Oh my God, my soul is cast down within me. Now, I guess not for nothing, but let's point out so far he's been talking, just sort of like thinking out loud, just sort of spitting off at the mouth a little bit. But now it's finally like he's talking to God, which is maybe in a way you could say, well, maybe that's what you should have been doing the whole time, dude. You know what I mean? Instead of venting and being frustrated and talking about pouring out your soul in you instead of to somebody else. Because now in verse 6, pretty much halfway through the psalm, he says, oh my God, my soul is cast down within me. Now he's not, oh my God, like we say it. Pretty much like a violation of the fourth commandment, right? We should not say, oh my God. We should just say nothing, probably, because people like to say stuff for no reason. But now he's talking to God. Oh my God, my soul is cast down within me. Therefore will I remember thee from the land of Jordan and of the Hermonites from the hill Mizar. So it's just going through a list. Those are references to things that he's remembering that God did. So in your life, you can make a list of, God, I'm going to remember you at that, and my kid had cancer, fix that, needed a house, fix that, needed work, fix that, all these things that you've done. And all of a sudden, just saying that makes you feel better. Oh yeah, God was there, got us through that situation, that one, this other one, another one. Oh yeah, then there was that other one. Like you could just keep going with all the stuff God's gotten you through. Deep calleth unto deep at the noise of thy waterspouts. All thy waves and thy billows are gone over me. So now it's overwhelming. Waves, because it's another water reference here, It's talking about the deer looking for a calm water brook. Now he's comparing God's goodness to just waves crashing over you. You just can't handle it all. It's so good. So keep that in mind. That felt pretty quick. I don't know if it was, but it felt like it was. It's always funny when you go back and look at a video and you're like, that felt fast. Never mind, that was pretty slow. I get crooked all the time, too. Alright, catch my breath. Didn't know 3 reps could make you get out of breath. So, what do we do now? That was 365. Then we'll go to 405. Next logical step, right? So, big waves crashing. Yet the Lord will command his loving kindness in the daytime. And in the night his song shall be with me, and my prayer unto the God of my life. I will say unto God my rock, why hast thou forgotten me? Why go I mourning because of the oppression of the enemy? Alright, so now he's kind of fixed his thought process a little bit. He's realizing, okay, I need to talk to God about all these problems instead of talking to everybody else. Because by comparison, everybody else is kind of stupid. By comparison. Not saying God doesn't put brilliant people in your life, to help you, because that's part of his way of helping you, is putting people in your life to help you. But at the same time, he's sitting here talking to God, saying, okay, God, I'm thinking about all these things that you've done, all the times you've gotten me through, and so on and so forth. So, how about we think about, why am I going through another hard time again? And if you kind of look at the psalm, like try to back out, zoom out a little bit for a minute, you're like, I think I figured it out, right? Did you see it? Did you figure it out yet? The psalm doesn't explicitly tell you, but if you watch this flow so far, pick up on the fact that he's going through hard times, and he's not talking to God about it. Okay, so when did he stop talking to God in the process here? When did he just start, internalizing everything? Pour out my soul in me. So maybe the whole point isn't just, good versus evil, good neighbor, bad neighbor kind of thing. Maybe God is using the situation to make him come back to him, to talk to him about it. Maybe that's the whole point. Because it sounds like it, because it took him halfway through the psalm, for example, to even do it. He's just talking about it at first, and then he actually talks to God about it. Now he's saying, I will say unto God my rock, why I'm in the situation. Well, I figured it out for you, buddy. As with a sword in my bones, my enemies reproach me while they say daily unto me, where is thy God? Now that's hard to deal with people coming at you every day. Why art thou cast down on my soul, and why art thou disquieted within me? Hope in God, for I shall yet praise him who is the health. The health. Healthy. The health of my countenance and my God. So, there's the thing. That's where it comes from. God. We don't need to try all these other things, which is the way people like to do it, don't they? It's like they know God has certain expectations. Maybe that's why they don't want to do it His way. They don't want to meet those expectations. I gotta figure this belt thing out too, because I can't believe my waist is like that small. Really? Maybe it is. This is embarrassing, but I have the same size waist that Ronnie Coleman did in his prime. Now, he weighed over 300 pounds, which is, I forget what he exactly weighed, but he was basically twice my weight. Especially right now, getting ready for this powerlifting meet, cutting down to 165, he was easily double that, especially in the off season. I think even on stage, he was like 300 pounds. At his biggest. I mean, I'm sure he wasn't always the same exact thing every single time, but I think one year's like 295, another year's 310 or something. I don't know. It's a crazy thought, though. It's crazy thought. 405, number I've done quite a few times in my life, but it's still like you look at it and you think, wow, that's heavy. And some days it still feels heavy. Some days it feels like it's heavy, but I could do a lot more. It's always heavy. It's 405. Come on. Again, it felt good, but heavy, man. Heavy, man. So that felt good. Let's throw a little more on there. You know, gotta push that threshold up. So, gotta figure this one out. This'n. Sounded cool, right? This'n. I think that's how they say it in the South. You know, they're really good at making a bunch of words one word. This one. This'n. It's not like it makes them talk any faster. All right. 425. And we need a little break. Catch your breath, man. That was heavy. Takes it out of you. And this video is kind of long, so probably nobody's still watching it. So I'm just going to cut it off. Go out and have a good day if you want to.